Welcome to you all. Today, our session is on the mental and psychological hygiene. I welcome you all and thank you all to connect with us. This mental and psychological hygiene in this modern age is very important for us. As you all know, we all are living in a very materialistic world. And in this materialistic world, we mostly focusing on the physical hygiene. And because of this physical hygiene, sometimes we having lots of issues. As you know, nowadays using a lots of chemical on our body also brings some problems to us. And because of it, sometimes we affect psychologically too. Worldwide, almost around more than 90% problems are psychosomatic, psychological issues. And if you look at the yogic scriptures, all of them, most of them, they try to work on human psychology. But the problem with us is we haven't considered it a lot and we were running behind the physical hygiene more. It's not bad to be physically very hygienic. It's very good. But in the scriptures, they have mentioned mentally, psychologically, physically, environmentally, and socially, we should be tried to be hygienic. And all the scriptures of yoga, they have given the more focus on the mental and psychological hygiene. Here, hygiene means not just cleaning. Here, hygiene means balance also. They have given more focus on this part. Reason, if human psychology, if human mind is relaxed, then everything is balanced. If this is not clear, this is not balanced, if this having difficulty to make decisions, then we have difficulty to practice, to act, to respond. In this modern age, the biggest problem that we all are facing is decision-making power. We are lacking this decision-making power a lot. Maharshi Patanjali, long time ago, focused on this mental hygiene. In the chapter, first chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra, 33 number sutra, he mentioned if you want to balance your chitta, your man, if you want to purify your mind, you need to focus on few things. He said in a sutra in Sanskrit, he said, Maitri karuna mudito pekshanam sukh dukh punya punya bhavanat chitta prasadanam. Maharshi Patanjali talk about the 4 main things. Before I translate you in Hindi, I would like to tell you, Patanjali also mentioned the 8 limbs of yoga. And in the 8 limbs of yoga, the first limb of yoga, as he mentioned, yam, which means self-restraint, ahimsa satyasте brahmacharya aparigraha yama, non-violence, truthfulness, honesty, celibacy, and no possession, no collection. Why he have mentioned this all as the first limb of yoga? The reason behind it is the first limb of yoga known as the social code of conduct, social balance. We humans should understand one thing, that if we want to balance our psychology, if we want to relax our mind, the first balance that we should find out in us is social balance. And here we are lacking a lot. Human known as the social personality, but I think so you all are agree with this, we are losing this social personality. Maharshi Patanjali said, if we born as human, our duty to be balanced in human society first. Then other society will accept us naturally. But here human having problem with human. Human is fighting on the name of divine. Human is fighting on the name of words, languages, colors, areas, boundaries, regions, religions. For an example, guys, if I think I want to live in jungle, I don't want to live in between humans. I want to live in forest. So maybe somehow 1 day or 2 day I can survive in jungle, in forest. But after few days, jungle will kick me out and tell me, be balanced first in your society, then you will be ready for our society. I'm not saying don't try to connect with other societies, love them, connect with them, but make sure our first duty is our society. So that's why Maharshi Patanjali said, Maitri Karuna Mudito Pekshanam Sukh Dukh Punya Punya Bhavanat Chitta Prasadhanam. Patanjali said, if you find out a person around you is very happy, you should try to be a friend of them. Means your behavior should be friendly with them. It will help you to balance your psychology and mind. But here again we have a twist. If we find out someone happy around us, the jealousy comes out. Why she, he, it is happy? I should be happy. I always tell people, nowadays people are not happy with their happiness. People are unhappy with others' happiness. And Patanjali long time ago already mentioned, if you find out any happy person around you, you should behave very friendly to them. Try to be a friend of them. But we are not. So here we need to we should try to be a friend of a happy person, which will help us to have mental hygiene. Then what Patanjali said? The next thing, Patanjali said, if you find out any person which looks like sad, or person in suffering, you should have the feeling of kindness for them, compassion for them, mercy for them. It'll help you to balance the psychology or the mind of human. But I've seen lots of places when we see someone is in suffering, we said, oh, what we can do. It's not our known person, or we can't help them. Actually, here Patanjali is not talking about the help. Patanjali is talking about if you try to be kind with them, that is a big help of them. And naturally, mentally, psychologically, you will be more satisfied. This is how we can hygiene our mind and psychology. The third thing that Patanjali said, if you find out a pure soul person around you, if you find out that a person doesn't matter from where, if you find out the person is very pure soul, you should try to feel bliss with them. Don't try to complain them. Or don't try to even ask them why you are in this much bliss. Or why you are and how you are this much pure. Just enjoy this pureness at that moment. It helps us to relax our mind and psychology. And the last thing is strictly Patanjali said, if you find out bad person means impure personality around you, means which our society don't like. So we should try to go against them also. Sometimes we are not taking the decision to go against the bad things. So if we find out something is not helping the society, something is not trying to manage the society, something is against the society, we should try to go against it. These all four things will help us to manage the mind and the human psychology. So, the conclusion of this sutra, Patanjali said, if you find out any happy person around you, be a friend of them. If you find out any sad person around you, try to be kind for them. If you find out any pure soul around, feel bliss with them. And if you find out any bad person around you, go against it. So this is the one thing that Maharshi Patanjali mentioned to manage the human psychology. And guys, one very interesting thing I always found in yogic scriptures and yogic practices is yoga is only the way which always said relax your mind. Take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out and relax your mind. Have you ever found that someone is saying you, don't take deep breath in, don't take deep breath out, or don't relax your mind? No. If you are going for yoga practice, they always said, take a deep breath in, take a deep breath out, and relax your mind. Means only yoga is the way which can help us to have mental and psychological hygiene. If you try to read Patanjali Yoga Sutra, you will find out lots of great things over there. One of them I have told you. And the another, if you try to go through the 8 limbs of yoga, the first 2 limbs of yoga, yam and niyam, social and personal balance, also giving a lot impact on human mind and psychology. If you try to go to study these first two limbs of yoga, Maharshi Patanjali mentioned the realization start from the first limb of yoga. Right now we are trying to put a lot effort on physical body. Like we try to practice lots of asana to get flexibility, to get strength. Nothing is wrong with it. Continue with it. But are we trying to put effort to manage our mind and psychology? I think so, very less or not. Where we need to put effort. Patanjali said, only yam and niyam need the effort. Rest of the limb of yoga are naturally achieved by the person. Then there is no need to put effort, like what Patanjali said. What is the definition of asana? The definition of asana is sthiram sukham asanam. Stable, comfortable body position is known as asana. Stable means physically very stable, not moving here and there. Comfortable means where you don't need to put any effort. Right now, I am sitting in a position and discussing with you. I'm giving effort to talk. I'm giving effort to my body. I'm putting lots of effort on my body to be here in this moment. But at this stage of asana, when someone reached, no need to put any efforts. Comfortable. That is called asana actually. And if you look at the 8 limbs of yoga, asana is the third limb of yoga. The first limb of yoga is social balance, and the second limb of yoga is personal balance. So if we go through the social balance and personal balance, things will help us a lot. So one thing I have told you, which can help us to manage our mind and psychology. Second thing, in Indian culture, from the childhood, we have learned one thing. And the things they have said, we should learn 3 things in our life, which help us to manage lots of psychological and mental things. What are those 3 things? They said, we should try to learn Dan, Daya and Chama. The word Dan means offering. Daya means mercy. And Chama means forgiveness. Look, what we need to offer now. This is we need to understand. Scripture said, offer that thing whichever you found out, you have more than your need. Offer always that thing whichever you find out, it is you having a lot, you having more than your need. It's not necessary that you should offer the money or food or something to someone else. If you're having lots of beautiful words, you can offer them. If you have lots of beautiful music, you can also offer that words. Anything you find out, you can offer it. Sometimes you can even just offer your nice smile to others, which gives a smile on other faces and you become satisfied. It helps you to be satisfied, and when you find out the self-satisfaction, the mind is naturally relaxed and the psychology balance. It's very simple and it's very easy. But the problem is people think, I have this, why should I offer it? It is mine. Actually, guys, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. That's why Patanjali said, if you find out any happy person around you, try to be a friend of them. Maybe you don't have happiness at that time, so the person is happy around you. If you try to be a friend of them, they will share it with you. They'll offer it to you, and you will become also happy. So both side mental satisfaction, psychological balance will come. Both side. This is one thing. So offer whatever you find out you have more than your need. Second, daya, mercy. Whenever we find out that someone is in problem, suffering. So what did I told you before? Kindness, compassion, and mercy. We should have it. And the third is forgiveness. If you find out someone has done some mistake with you, or someone has done something wrong with you, I can understand it's very difficult to accept it at that moment. But after some time, forgive it. Don't keep holding it. Because if we holding it, it keep triggering us. The tension, the stress, the anxiety. If we hold anything from past, and whenever we see the same things that happening to someone else, it trigger us the same problem, and we start to remember it, memorize it. It makes problems, and we having difficulty to have a relaxed mind. We having difficulty to balance our psychology. So it is better to forgive. Chama. I know that some mistakes are not possible to forgive and forget. But Sri Krishna said in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, try. My dear Arjun, try. I think so you all know about the Bhagavad Gita. And in Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna said, Arjun, you have only one weapon which can help you a lot, is your try. Dear people, we having difficulty to offer, so we can try. We have difficulty to have kindness sometimes, so we can try. We have difficulty to forgive sometimes, so we can try. So, human is a statue of mistakes. Accept the mistake and keep trying to be better. This is what helping us to relax our mind and balance our psychology. So this is the another thing in the scriptures written to balance the human psychology and mind. And the third most important lesson that we should learn from our yogic scripture is acceptance and expectations. We are running nowadays behind lots of expectation. And we are lacking the power of acceptance. For an example, in human society, humans are lacking to accept the humans. So they having problems with humans. Be born as human, then why we are having difficulty to accept the humans? And we are expecting a lot from the humans. If we have difficulty to accept them, why we are expecting from them then? The things we can't accept, I think so we should not have expectation from them. My mother always told me, If someone expects from you something, it means they accept you. But here I have seen in human society is completely opposite. We are expecting from the things which we don't try to accept. We should try to accept the humans. Or not only humans. First thing, our society we need to accept. I have told you, if you find out something bad in us, our society, we should go against it. I am not saying accept it as it is. But here we need to understand one thing. Without accept, even you can't go against anything. If something happening wrong somewhere else, first you accept, yes, it is happening wrong, then you can go against it. In the Christianity, there is a prayer I have read, very nice prayer they have written. It says, expect those things, those we can change. Expect those things, those we can change, and expect those things, those we can't change. But think wisely what you can change and what you can't change. Here, the problem is we are trying to expect the things that we can't change. And we are trying to accept the things that we can change. And this is, they have said only for present moment, because expecting and expectations are only exist in present moment for us. Sometimes we having lots of expectation from the future or from the past, which never comes. That's why in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna has given a long detail about the Karma Yoga to Arjun. He said, Karmande divadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalehetu bhurmate sangosta karmani. My dear Arjun, focus on your action. Don't think a lot about results, means expectation. If you keep focusing on your results, then you can't practice your action in a very appropriate way. So dear people, here we need to apply one thing nicely to us. Understand what we can accept and what we can't accept. And there is a very easiest way given to us to understand the expectation and acceptance. In the scriptures, they said, if we want to understand the expectation and acceptance, we need to look at the three things only. These three things can help us to understand the concept of expectation and acceptance. What are those three things? The three things are Des, Kal, Paristiti. Des means place. Kal means timing. And Paristiti means situation. Des, Kal and Paristiti. For an example, I'm just giving an example. There is a girl, Jyotirmayi is here in this class we have today. So for an example, Jyotirmayi, she is in Rishikesh right now. And Rishikesh is a very beautiful city. If she think, I'm just making an example. So Rishikesh is a beautiful city. And the timing is also good in this moment, in this time. Time zone is very good right now in Rishikesh area. Maybe some of the life situation of her life is not very good. So what she should do? She should accept the life situation. Means if from these three things, the time, situation and location, from these three things, if all three are good, accept. If any two of them are good, accept. If any two of them are bad, go for expectation. If you find out the time is not good, the place is not good, only life situation is good, go for change. Expect. That's why sometimes, maybe you know this, lots of psychologists, psychiatrists, they also suggest some people you need a change. They suggest you need the place change, to change the place, or you need to change something else. What was that? Why they are suggesting us like this? They are trying to find out, they are helping us to find out or to understand the concept of time, place, or situation. So these things can help us to manage our mind and psychology, guys. Human brain is very powerful. But don't mind, in this modern age, somehow we are lacking the power of human brain. Reason? The human is growing their dependency on other things. Human is depending a lot on materials, on gadgets. This gadget are helping us to connect from very far. So I think so this is the right way to use them. But sometime we think gadget will take care of everything is not okay. It making a problem in our brain, and we are lacking the power of our brain slowly. So for mental hygiene, or to balance the human psychology, we need to focus on few things. The first thing I have told you is what? Maitri karuna mudito pekshanam sukh dukh punya punya bhavana chitta prasadanam. First chapter, 33 number sutra of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Second thing I have told you, to balance the human psychology, give the effort to the first two limbs of yoga, yam and niyam. It helps us a lot. Third thing that we need to learn, or we need to understand, is offering, mercy, and forgiveness. And the fourth concept that we should try in our life, what we should expect and what we should accept. Try to understand this concept, and for understanding this concept, we need to look at, before we go for expectation, before we go for expectations, we need to focus on three things. Again, what are these three things? The three things are time, locations, and situation. Any three of them are okay, good, accept. Any two of them is also good, accept. Any two of them are not good, go for expectation, go for the change. So we can try to manage our human mind and psychology. Now, the last thing I am going to tell you, it is scientific, spiritual, philosophical, as well as it is very important to understand. Our mind is receiving the information through our five senses. And about these five senses, the entire yogic scripture said, manage your sense organs. If you manage your sense organ, your mind will never ever have fluctuation, because mind have lots of fluctuation because of our sense organs. So try to use your sense organ in the moment for an action. don't try to be multitasking personality at the moment. Yes, maybe in future we can become a very multitasking personality in a moment. But do one action at one time and try to use your all the senses at that moment. Dear people, now I'll take you little towards the anatomy part. You know the cervical region of our body, the cervical area. This area is very important for us. This is the location where we have Vishuddhi Chakra, the fifth chakra of our body. And this is the location from where all the nervous systems related to our sense organ comes out. And if you know about the 5 koshas of our body, Annamaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Manomaya Kosh, Vijnanamaya Kosh and Anandamaya Kosh. The third kosh related to this area, it's called Manomaya Kosh, mental layer of our body. Very scientific connection these all three having. Vishuddhi Chakra is there. All the nerve root of sense organs comes out of there. And the mind is working behind the sense organs. And the Manomaya Kosh. So if you want to balance your Manomaya Kosh, your mind, Vishuddhi Chakra or sense organ, just try to manage the sense organ. That's it. And for this, Maharshi Patanjali mentioned a limb of yoga in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is Pratyahar. Withdraw the sense organ from unwanted and unnecessary objects. Just try to use them on the main objects. Then naturally our mind will be relaxed. Don't try to control your mind. Never ever try to control, because the word control means you are forcing it. It comes under the pressure. And when it comes under the pressure, it makes the anti-force against it. So just try to relax the mind. Yoga said, Man ko shant kare. Relax your mind. Don't try to control the mind. Similarly, again, don't try to control your senses. Manage your senses. Manage your senses. Naturally, our mind will be relaxed and our psychology will be balanced. Now here, the mental hygiene and psychological part is done. Here I would like to give you an advice too. Whatever you think it is an advice, or it is a suggestion, or it's a description. In Ayurvedic and yogic scriptures, they mentioned we should try to balance 3 quality in us. The 3 quality is Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. And dear people, maybe in future, maybe in next other sessions, I'll discuss more about the Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Previously, I have also discussed sometimes about this Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. The Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, these 3 qualities is the psychology of human life. If we balance them, our physiology will be naturally balanced, guys. Always remember, the first imbalance that ever happened in human life is psychological imbalance. If we don't take care of it for a long time, it brings the physiological imbalance to our life. If we don't take care of it a lot, then it brings the hormonal imbalance in our life. So try to figure out the psychological changes and try to manage the sattva, rajas and tamas. The psychology will be managed and the mind will be naturally relaxed. So dear people, thank you to all of you for joining us today, and I hope you understood the concept of mental hygiene and psychology, which is described in yogic scriptures in detail. Our discussion for the day is a brief discussion. It was a brief discussion on the mental hygiene. And I would like to suggest you to read these scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali Yoga Sutra. You will find out lots of other way to manage the human mind and psychology. So thank you again to all of you who have joined from around the world, I'll say, because lots of people are there from different countries. Thank you to all of you.